Hey everyone, I decided it was time to just make a video on how I'm feeling recently, how I view the world, and what's been going on. This is going to be completely unedited because I don't really care, I'm going to be honest with you, and I just feel like having a good time. Don't ask about the skin, okay? It's a Doomslayer in a maid costume. So, my landlord kind of sucks. My parents don't like him. No one likes him. If you like my landlord, you're probably my landlord, you know. Wife doesn't even like him. He's not a great guy. He basically decided to up our rent by $300 in a singular month. He was supposed to only do 100, and then I guess my mom upset him so much. We're fairly certain he's sexist, but we think that for some reason he got so upset with her he just couldn't handle it and wanted to raise up our rent, which would be awful, but gas prices are so grotesquely high, food prices are high, the power of energy is going up. It's just stupid. Gas prices are I want to say 200% increase in the past year. You know, went from like 300, $3, $2 to now $6. And in some places I've seen it, it's like 8. That's just crazy. So I think that we should probably try and fix that, you know. We do have a beautiful place called America, which we can go drilling for oil on. I mean, I don't really want to do that because of all the issues with it. Fracking is just not fun. And it's just not a good idea to do on the U.S. soil because there's so many people that live here compared to third world countries and all that. And I'm not 100% certain on how good the oil would be here compared to somewhere like the Middle East where people are doing oil runs and stuff. But it'd probably be safer for everyone if we stayed on our own territory. But at the same time, I don't want to stay here. I think that maybe we should start doing better jobs with factories, better jobs with oil processing. It's better with everything. I think the major issue right now in the world is just everyone's so divided, no one can agree on anything. That really screws with whenever you're trying to do something nice for the environment. Because if no one sees eye to eye, then how are we supposed to do this thing that we need? But we can't do it because everyone hates each other now. And, no one reads in the history. There's people that don't even know who Anne Frank is, which is just upsetting, really. The current state of the world is just bad. Really bad, actually. I mean, I'm glad to have been born when I was compared to, 1930s and all that. Great Depression was awful. But granted, right now, the way that America feels, it's pretty bad, too. Hold on. Please. Yeah, I just feel like we need a complete another change. I think people need to pay attention more in school, at least when they're in school. I don't think college is a great idea. You spend $50K to go to some nice college. And what do you get from that nice college? You just get a piece of paper that you can frame. Some people do get nice jobs out of it, though, granted. Okay? But that's not the same thing for everyone. Not everyone has the same opportunities. Not everyone has the same personality that is wanted for the certain job. It's just a big ol' kerfuffle of issues in the world right now. I think that the biggest change we need to make is just making people understand each other more. Just sitting down and talking. People need to not be racist, especially in third world countries where they're killing Muslims and stuff. It's just not good. Also, fighting over religion, that doesn't make sense. Religion's completely different everywhere because different people have different ideologies. And that's just based off of where they're from. And that's why it bothers me whenever there's people that are from certain religions making fun of people from other religions or they're killing off just certain groups of people because of stereotypes or because they don't feel like they have the same views. They feel like that's bad. I think a lot of people are bad, but I don't think a lot of people are like the worst types of beings on the planet. I just think that people need to change the way that they view the world. Everyone needs to realize we have a very short, limited time here. I mean, sure, the average person lives like, what is it, 83, 84? New technology, we could probably get to like 100, at least riding 100. I think it would be better if we all just figured out a way to get along. Like with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. I mean, I understand that technically Ukraine is where Russia was made, first founded. And I understand it, you know, territorial land, all this, like, oh, it's part of Russia, it should be part of Russia, they left us, ooh. But also, at the same time, it's just not good to do that to people. Like, the bombings, just awful to think about. And then even worse to actually execute. Pretty poopy times, man. Like, really poopy times, actually. But that probably won't change for a very long time. We have, like, hardly any time left now to fix our planet. I wish I could say that recycling's helping, but recycling's just making more plastics, and then not everyone's recycling, but that's just because most people don't want to pay for the recycling bill, because, like, there's no point in recycling if you're not going to recycle, and you shouldn't put it in a trash can anyway. I think that we just need better solutions for trash, honestly. I think, because there's bacteria that eat plastic, which would be just great if we actually had at, like, dumps and stuff, like just vats of it. But then again, I don't know what the issues of that could be. I'm not the smartest gentleman on the block, but I know my way around some things in the world. I just think that it would be beneficial if we try to get rid of plastics completely, at least remove it from the daily life. I think that wood's probably a better alternative. I know that plastic is better in certain cases, like where it's needed because it's stronger or it lasts longer than wood. But then again, why not, you know, breed some big boy strong trees and make some better wood? I just think that there's things that people haven't really thought about that should be thought about, or at least touched upon in society. Like, just the way that we're living right now isn't great for our planet, our beautiful planet. If the human race were to go through, like, a mass apocalypse, like, a bunch of people would just die at an hour, like half the population, a lot of things would change. Carbon dioxide levels would probably go down by a lot. Gas emissions would go down by a lot. All the issues that we've been facing would probably disappear. But that's not to say if we kill half the population, there's still another half. You know, so you take that 25-25, and you take that most of them hate the other half, basically. You know, it's like Democrats versus Republicans, or religious versus non-religious, pro-abortion versus, you know, anti-abortion. Pro-life, that's what it is. I don't know. I just hate the way people treat each other. It's not fun anymore. And now most people, all they see is race and gender. I just think it's awful. I don't care what people identify with. As long as you're nice to each other, you respect each other, you give each other the space that they need, and you're not, you know, in their face all about their personal life, we should get along just fine. But if you're going to sit there and tell someone that they're ugly or they're an awful person for reasons beyond your comprehension, like disabilities, and most people that make fun of people about disabilities have no idea what the disability even, like, is, or the genetic causes behind it. Like, it's just not fun. Or how there's now this extreme liberalism in our country, and you know, there's the conservatives that I guess you could call rednecks, and they just live on these ranches with their, you know, their pump shotguns, just waiting. I don't understand it anymore. Everyone just hates each other. And what's so weird to me is I was watching a video today, or like a couple minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, and it was a guy, black gentleman, and he was getting asked questions about, like, you know, who gave black Americans the right to vote, all this stuff. He kept saying Democrat, and the answer is Republican. And when they asked who do you think freed the slaves, he said Democrat, and then they said Republican, and then he said, the guy from PragerU said that Abraham Lincoln was Republican, and then the black gentleman was, like, surprised by that. I think that's just because of how much change there's been in the world. Most of the Republicans, except for, like, you know, the very far right, Nazi, socialists, whatever you want to call them. Not socialists, I forget the term. But, you know, the bad boys, fascists. Like, they changed a lot. But then again, they haven't really changed because they've been around since, you know, the Nazis in Germany. And that's the issue, is that people think that the right side has changed completely. There's still the bad boys on the right side, which are, you know, the Nazis and all of them, fascists. And then you have the good people, the Republicans, and then some conservatives. Most conservatives are pretty cool, but some of them are just downright awful people. And I think that's completely because the Democratic Party realized that they need to do some changes in order to stay relevant and to no longer be shunned upon. Which was a good move. It's just that now, the Republican Party, which is a little bit more, you know, old-fashioned, I guess you could say, but not really. It's just, it was made by, like, people who wanted to stop Democratic people, because back in the day, the Democrats were not the greatest people. They were the slave owners. And people like Abraham Lincoln were like, no. So the Republican Party was made to, you know, contest that superiority ideology in these people. And it just, now it's completely changed. It seems like everybody thinks that the Republicans are racist, even though most of them aren't. And, like, it's crazy that a lot of people don't know that the KKK was made by the Democratic Party. And a lot of the Democratic Party back in the day were just really racist. And some of the Democrats had to switch to the Republican Party because they realized how bad it was. Wasn't very many, but, you know, there were still a few of them. Most of the founding fathers were good people, too. Like, I believe it was Thomas Jefferson. He married a African woman, one of the slaves, and he freed her. Something like that. I'll have to do more research on that. I heard it today. And I thought that was crazy, because most people would imagine being racist, you know. And I guess that makes sense. Benjamin Franklin was a very strong supporter of freedom, you know, of the slaves. Which is nice to hear that the guy who got struck by lightning, a kite and a key, supported slaves. I just wish that more people knew the history of our world. Not just America, but our world, you know. Like, some people forgot that Pearl Harbor happened. Some people don't know when it happened. In fact, some people don't know where it happened, which is just absurd to think about. It was December 6th, 1941, and that's when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. And a lot of people don't know that somehow, which is really weird to think about, because it's been taught in schools. The fact that I'm pretty sure that everyone should know it. If you know, had some, like, form of education, you weren't just, like, slacking off in class, you know. You should know about it. Another thing I really don't like, is when there's people from different races and different cultures that will get offended for them. They aren't from that race or, like, nor the culture, but they still get offended. Which is not rare. Before, back in the day, it was like, you know, people kind of stayed in their own lane. And now everyone's like, oh man, you're a bigot, racist. Oh boy, you wore clothes that were made by, like, a Hispanic designer. and now you're a racist because you're trying to culturally appropriate, but you're white. Stuff like that, or how like the white male is basically the most hated thing because you're white and you're a guy. So you have, you know, liberal women who are more feminist, I guess you could say, than Republican and conservative. And they're hating on you because you're white, even though they're white with you, which is they're right white with you. Get it? Crazy, but it's real. A lot of things that are crazy to people are real, which, you know, makes sense because America currently and a lot of places in the world feel like a fever dream. Like, just the world of YouTube, the internet as a whole, Twitter's awful now. It's just filled with a bunch of liberals and Democrats hating on the Republican Party. Or if you say a joke now, you will either be called racist, sexist, ableist, homophobic, all this stuff. I'm not homophobic, okay? Let's get one thing clear. I'm not homophobic. I'm not racist. I think everyone's equal. Everyone has their, you know, God-given quote-unquote rights. I'm not really religious either, but, you know, if there's an afterlife, I'm willing to go. But I just don't understand it, how someone could be racist or homophobic. I think that every race stereotypes other races. I don't think anyone is, like, clear of that. In fact, the same races stereotype each other. Like, white people stereotype white people. Like, you know, white people, like, live in LA where there's so many people there that it feels like you're in China that has a population of, what is it, 1 billion? And when I went to California recently, I have to say one thing. The bathrooms are disgusting, especially the beach bathrooms. Biggest regret of my life is going in there. Saw a naked old man changing. Hated that. That was... Oh, my fan just fell. That's okay. That was not an enjoyable experience. I just had this weird curse of seeing naked old men changing. Like at Planet Fitness one time, I walked in the locker because I had to go pee real bad. I know, Planet Fitness. Oh, bad gym. Wee. I know. No, it's not no LA Fitness, but then again, I don't really want to go to LA Fitness. But yeah, it's been pretty bad for me. I've had a lot of bad experiences recently. Not very many good ones. You know? A lot of my friends kind of suck. There's a, you know, few good fellas. But most of my friends are just not great. And I wouldn't even call them friends. They're like people I talk to very, like, randomly. Random intervals. I like most of my Discord friends. Sometimes, you know, they can come off a little rude. That's because they cuss. And I'm not really a fan of cussing, especially when it's people my age. I don't think you really have a reason to be cussing unless, you know, something really bad happened to you. Most of them didn't really have bad stuff happen to them, but some of them did. Some of them have been through some turmoil in their life. But I just don't think it's correct for a kid to be cussing. And my whole reasoning behind that is just because of the way I was raised. If I cuss, I would just get in trouble. I say crap, hell occasionally, but that's within the correct context of the word. Not going around with my friends joking, making fun of, you know, people. A lot of people make fun of other people for reasons unknown, in my opinion. Oh, I just fell. They have diamond swords. I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna put this down. You saw that? I'm cruising. Oh my god. I need to get out of here. Let me go down here. Marco, let me be clear. Yeah, I need to try and branch out and make new friends. I am going to do online school again. And my whole reasoning for that is just because I did not have a good time in person. I was bullied, made fun of. You know, a lot of your friends in person just aren't great friends. And it's a weird feeling. Being able to just wake up in your bed and then I roll over and go to my gaming setup and then I join class. Really weird feeling. It's kind of trippy, actually. Like, I remember when I first did online school, I just was like, wow, I get to eat meals here. I don't have to deal with that, for some reason, really good dry chicken sandwich. Like, it was a pretty cool experience. But, you know, it helped a lot that 7th grade was, you know, end of the year of 7th grade is when 2020 happened for me. And like, that was, everyone knows what happened in 2020, okay? There needs no more to be said, okay? Like, everyone knows. So, I remember that what it was is if you did the work, your grade would get higher, but it wouldn't get lower because it was our first time doing online school. At least part of the district where I'm in. And now they have a whole like school system, and that's what I do is I join the district school system, and it's an online school. It's, you know, the virtual campus they call it. It's pretty cool. It's the same hours. I believe it's you join at 8:15, your homeroom first hour, whatever class you have. And then you usually just go until, I think it's either 3 or 4. I think it's 4:15, something like that, or 3:30. I don't know. But I remember it was more enjoyable than actually being in school. But that also comes from the fact I could play Fortnite during class. I don't really want to now, because it's like, why? Not to mention Fortnite right now, it's just you have to lower your graphics to even be able to play it, especially on a PC like mine. Like, I'm getting 144 FPS right now in Minecraft. But for some reason on Fortnite, it's really laggy. And, like, I just like the game isn't optimized. It doesn't help that the map looks awful, too. Like, even on high graphics, I just hate the reality stuff. It's kind of cool. Kind of. Like, I like the whole... suck at that. I like the whole theme of it that they have going. But I think that they could have done a better job. It's funny though. Fortnite gas prices are lower than America currently. A lot of people don't believe in inflation, which is really weird. Like that, for some reason that bothers me a lot. I don't know why. Yeah. And then there's still somehow people that support the Biden campaign and what they're doing currently with our world, and you know, they just have the world currently by its throat saying, hey, you have to be really bad right now. And if you're not, we're just going to make it even worse. We will control you till every single American dies. Which, you know, good for the modern liberalistic Democratic Party. Does make sense for them. God dang, I suck. Hat Zax, are they hacking? Or are they just a mobile player and that's why they were able to hit me? Anyway. Okay. That's fair. Yep. I just don't like modern America, modern world. I don't like the way people are treating each other. It's just really bad right now. Let's do a complete shift in tone here. I really want to become a YouTuber. I mean, I post here and there, but I mean, like, I want to be a big boy YouTuber. I want to, do collabs with popular people. I want that nice 100K plaque. That's what I really want. I just love the way it looks. It's so nice and minimalistic. If I could, I'd go on, like, Etsy or whatever, and, like, find a fake one, and I would just buy that, because I just love the way it looks. I think 100,000 would probably be my goal. But whoa, if I could, I think I would be fine with like 13K, and then slowly grow my Cronsley empire, and branch into different games, of course, other than just Minecraft and Fortnite. By the way, the only reason I play Bedrock is just because I refunded Java. I'm currently getting it from a friend via the Xbox store, because he's game sharing with me, but it's not really game sharing because I'm on PC. But you know what I mean. I'm getting stuff from him. Yeah, I just really want. It's not that I want to be famous. It's just I like the idea of making money, but I just upload the stuff I actually enjoy. Which I think a lot of people like the idea of doing. Like vlog channels, they just upload their daily life. I would do that, but I don't exactly have like a DSLR camera. Or is it DLSR? I always forget. DSLR, DLSR. I don't know. I think it's DSLR. I believe that's what it is. I really want one. I just want a camera, actually, in general. I love photography. I could take some pretty photos. But also it'd be nice for a face cam. Because currently I have a Speedle. I don't know. Speedal. It's SPEDAL. That's the webcam I have. And I got it because it was 30 bucks. And that's when I also got my first microphone, which was the Moano AU4, something like that. Now I have the Samsung Q9U, which I love this baby. Currently I'm using it in the USB mode because I don't have a, like a Scarlett Focusrite audio interface. I either want the Go XLR Mini, the Elgato XLR, or the Focusrite Scholar audio interface. What is it? The 2i2, I believe, something like that. I don't know. But I want that really bad, and then I'll switch to XLR. And that's just because you have a lot more freedom with that. Then you can EQ better than you could with this. I could change my gain. And then I also really want the like any of the Bayer Dynamic open backs. And my whole reasoning for that is because open backs have way better soundstage. And if you don't know what that is, it's like when you can hear in your headset left and right, and some headsets go the extra mile like up and down. Instead, you can actually pinpoint exactly where the sound is coming from, and that's just because of the open back design, which is really nice. And also, your ears don't get as sweaty. But a lot of people's issues with it though are the fact that there is sound leak, so it'll come out the sides of your headset. So if you're like in a room with multiple people, they need to focus on their game. They'll hear it, but at the same time, when are you that close to people? And it doesn't really bother me that it's open back because I can hear my mom when she calls me. Because currently, I have the HyperX Cloud X, which are leather cups, closed back design. Which, if you don't know, leather closed back is really, really sound canceling. Like, they don't even try to be sound canceling. It just is. It's just there. Well, I guess the audio isn't there. Why is this blocked off? I have a feeling that that's not supposed to be like that. I think I can block my way up here. Can you move? Thank you. Getting it. Yeah, like I said, I hate people. Just kidding. I hate the way people treat each other. I'm a very introverted person. The only reason I feel safe to upload on YouTube is because I have no subscribers. But, hopefully that will change in the future. That my cousin might see this, and a few estranged friends I barely talk to. That's really all I could think about. Who could even, stomach watching my videos? But, I'm happy with what I have. What am I at now? 21, 22 subscribers? Around there? I think that's pretty cool. And I'm not getting that many views on all my videos. I do have a video that's 200 views, though. And that's pretty cool. But also, I'm not big enough to make even a cent off of that video. If I had the option to, I think I would try and grow my channel more, or at least spread the good word of Cronsley out to the good people of the world. I need to go buy blocks. Okay, I'm gonna go buy blocks and I'll fill that hole up. Or should I do, how much is block? 200. Okay. I'll just buy blocks. Okay. Let's fill up this hole here. Boop, boop. Oh, block upgrade. Do we have the air upgrade yet? Come here, Mitch. Joaquin Sevilla. Been spending most all. Okay, we got blue flag. I don't know. Leave some comments and then maybe I'll respond. I want to know some of your political views. If you want to know my views on abortion, it's a very touchy topic. I know. I'm a guy. I have no opinion. But I think that if I were a father and it was a consensual conception of the baby, that the dad should also have some talking points. Because when you break it down scientifically, the female egg, it's just a clump of her DNA. Well, the sperm is also the clump of the guy's DNA, but the sperm goes seeking for the egg, so it's more alive than the egg, which is just an organic ball. It's like, no wider than a hair follicle. Or whatever it is, just hair in general. Very thin stuff. Especially if you're like an old, mean Jew grandmother. Lives in a home. Okay, but yeah, I think abortion and, instances of all the abuse, weird family issues, that stuff perfectly fine with me. I think if you can't support the baby financially, perfectly fine. But what I don't support is that there's some girls who go partying on purpose to get pregnant and then kill the baby. Like, yikes. What even is that? Baby issues, not even daddy issues anymore? Like, that's just weird. That's just really weird to me. And there's some people in the world that support abortions because of the fact that they're just good to them. And I understand. I do understand. If you already have multiple kids, or it's an unwanted pregnancy, can't financially support it, can't mentally support it, which is a really big talking point no one talks about. So I guess it wouldn't be a talking point, it'd be more so a silent point. But I feel like everyone should think about the fact that some, women shouldn't bear children, and some women, like mentally disabled women, were, abused by certain people in their lives, and I don't think that they should have that baby. And the reason for that is because the foster care system is awful, and you get a few good apples out of a bad batch. It's like whenever you record yourself singing, you only get a few good recordings, and everything else is just god awful, and it sounds like you're a donkey that's getting like mauled to death by a tiger. But I just think that abortions are bad if it isn't like needed, if that makes sense. Like if you wanted the baby, like, hear me out, okay? Don't get mad at me. Don't like throw knives at my head. If you wanted the baby in the first place, okay, and if you're waiting until the last day to abort your baby, you might as well have a cesarean section and have the baby, or give the baby to someone who's more well fit to take care of the baby and raise a very good kid. I'm not saying they're going to be the next Einstein or anything. What I'm saying is this: that every human life matters. Every life matters. Everything matters. Our planet matters. So is the ozone layer, which is part of our planet. But, I think that we need to realize abortion isn't always the best option in certain cases, because sometimes there's people who can't have kids and would love to have your kid because you're not wanting to have the kid, so you might as well give it to someone who's more willing to take care of the baby, someone who will be more efficient as a parent compared to a loose cannon, if that makes sense. And another thing, we need more plants in the world, man. Grow them on buildings, like in Multiverse of Madness on Earth 838. The reason why that they have hats is to protect from the falling leaves. The reason that there's so many plants is because the ozone layer was damaged, and the guy, Reed Richards, smartest man of the world, even though he got turned into ribbon, he realized that they needed more oxygen, so that entitled, more plants. Which does make sense in theorem. And another thing that would be really nice if we did have more plants is that the air would be a lot cleaner. Especially in places like China or India, where there's just so many people that they can barely breathe. And if you look back at like old pictures of California, like the old days, like 40s, 30s, 50s, if you looked, like you could see the air. It was thick. Like the people working on skyscrapers and stuff had to wear masks because of how bad it was. Which is crazy to think about. We're doing better, okay? We're doing better, but we're not doing good. And I think that's just because, like I said earlier, no one gets along anymore. Everybody just has, knives at each other's throats. Oh, this guy's a liberal, so I make fun of him. This guy's a Republican, so I make fun of him. Like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Or, there's those guys that mistreat, abuse, hurt women. And those girls that want those guys are just mind-boggling to me. Like, how? You want a guy that will choke you and beat you, sure, maybe that's your weird thing that you like. But also, at the same time, maybe it's not a great idea to get beat up by your boyfriend every 10 days. Something doesn't go his way, and he's like, "Grr, I'm so angry with you, woman." And then he picks you up and throws you at the wall. Like, all of his might. That's bad. Get out of there. Leave that relationship, okay? Go find a nice guy. I don't mean those, like, weird, can't say that word, because that's a bad word. But, shove the C, ends with the K, U, C in the middle. Like, come on, not one of them. I'm talking about a guy who can support you financially. You can also support him financially. You can help, not just live, like, just basically off this one guy. What happens if he gets into a car accident and he's no longer able to sufficiently pay for the bills and all your needs? Well, you need to also have a job for that, okay? But the real kicker is, don't date a guy that you know to have issues. Don't date a guy you know that you have had problems with, because where does that get you? Nowhere. It just gets you to where you were before. And where you were before? Sad, lonely, and depressed because your ex-boyfriend tried to kill you. And the same goes for guys. Stop dating weird girls. Arr. It makes me so upset. Like, I think that people should stop looking for, just like one-night stands every 8 seconds, and then they think that they love them, so they marry them in 2 years. Stop doing that. You have to build a relationship with the person first. See if you even like them. Because behind the curtains, you don't know who they really are. Okay? And I've experienced this a few times with girls. And, I talk to them, and there's been a few that I've nicely declined, like very formal. And one of them, I won't say who or anything like that, but she said, "I know all the stuff you told me was a lie. It's just a bunch of this crap." And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. And then she just went cuckoo bananas, man. I'm telling you. Don't try and get with crazy girls, and don't let crazy girls try and get with you. It's a bad omen if they're crazy, okay? You should know by the first 10 minutes of talking to them. I did. I just didn't know how to end the conversation, and I'm not great at that. I should probably work on that better, of nicely ending things with someone. But that's okay. I think there's a guy in here, isn't there? I saw you in my death screen, baby. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Tell you one thing. I love my grandpa. I love him. One of the nicest men in the world. And he's one of the few older men who were raised in a society where you don't see color, you don't see gender, none of that. You just see the character of the person. And that's what that's what his life is he doesn't disrespect people. He disrespects the characters of people. And, well, it doesn't disrespect them. What I mean by that is he doesn't like those people because they're not great people. And it's emphasis on people. It's not skin color, no gender, none of that. If he doesn't like you, it's not because you are, I don't know, like short. Okay? That's not why. Or because you're a tall woman. That's not why. It's probably because you're rude. Or you're racist yourself. My grandpa does not stand for that kind of stuff, which is what I love about him. My grandpa is very supportive of everything that my family does. Most of my family, that is. Most of them. And that's what I love about him, is he's just a great guy. And he's 79. He's been around long enough to have so many amazing stories. Like, just great. He was in the Marine Corps. He was in the military before they started, I guess, being nicer to people. And the whole reason that, honestly, like, the whole reason behind them doing that is just because of how political the military is getting now. Which I hate. I really hate that. I really, really don't like that. And I don't like it when anything gets political. I'm fine with people's political views. I'm just not fine when it spreads in the mainstream media. The news is perfectly fine. In fact, I like the news. Not a fan of CNN. Be honest with you. I'm not a fan of CNN. But that's, to each their own. People like it. Some people don't. I'm one of the few that can barely watch it. Fox is okay. But I also make sure that I know what's going on other news outlets, so I know that it's not because of the party that they like. Same with CNN. If you're going to watch that, you also have to know what Fox is saying. If you're going to watch Fox, you have to know what CNN is saying. Which is very difficult to do if you're a Republican and you hate the Liberal Party or the Democratic Party. And it's very difficult to do if you're a Liberal or a Democrat and you hate the Republican or Conservative Party, But if you're like me, who's neutral, like more neutral, I guess you could say. I mean, I agree with a lot more Republican views than I do anything else. And that's just because of where I was raised and the people that raised me. The people that raised me are those genuine people I know. My mom, my dad, not my biological father, my stepdad. And of course, my grandpa, because he was basically my dad. Because my biological father is currently on the run for doing some awful things. I'm looking for you. Yeah. Oh, we lost completely. I just think it's kind of goofy, actually. The fact that so many people can disagree about so many things. Like, why? Shh, be quiet. We get it. You don't like the news, buddy. We get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. It doesn't mean you have to tell anyone that you like the news or you don't like the news. That doesn't mean anything to me. Okay? I watch the news because I want to watch the news. I watch the news because I want to know what's going on. I don't watch it to sway my political opinions on anything. Okay? I just really don't understand it. Speaking of not understanding things, I'm not in a great mental area recently. I know, I don't want to hear about this. Who cares? Well, I know that there's a estranged few people who do care, and I want to thank them people. It's just difficult to live in a world where everyone is arguing all the time. I really wish I could, speak to more people. But most people hate me because I'm white, even though they're white too, most of the time. Or people hate me for being a guy. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not a fake person. I'm not, I'm not gonna hide anything unless it's very personal to me. And I guess a lot of people don't like that about me, is because I'm a lot more open with my ideas. And it's not like I'm gonna, make fun of people. I'm not very mean person. I just view things differently than most people do, and I think that sets some people off, but that's okay. I just really wish I could talk to more people. And then it just comes from the feeling of like loneliness, I guess you could say. And I don't know where that feeling comes from. It's a really weird feeling. You know, you're loved, you're surrounded by people that love you. You should be happy, but you're not. And I don't know why that is. And yeah, I'm not gonna really talk to anybody else about this, but I prefer doing it online, you know, with my friends and stuff, because it's not up close and personal. I have this web between me and them. And I just really want some more friends, because everyone wants more friends, you know. And it's not that I have this desire to be loved or liked by everyone. It's just that I have this desire to no longer feel alone. Like, I understand I have family, right? But my family doesn't click with me. I've met very few people that do click with me. But I no longer talk to most of those people. And I can say that it is a weird feeling when you're talking to your online friends and you realize that you don't see eye to eye with them. But who else are you going to talk to? You know? Like, for instance, me and my brother, love you to death, Mason, but we don't always see eye to eye. And I know, I'm rude and all that. But that's just because of how upset I am at other people. You know? I just really hate that feeling. Makes me feel sick sometimes. Well, I'm gonna go. Have a good day. Bye.